SOAR and GSOAR development. Today I want to tell you about dynamic playbook and in SOCs and how do you implement them in our platform. What is a dynamic playbook? It's a prepared scenario for automatic reaction or response, where you specify some manual activities when analysts has to do when do the cyber incident research. The first one would be static, second one would be dynamic playbook. Dynamic playbook is the hard-coded scenario, which is always going to be executed irrespectively of the context. It has some shortcomings, however, and such as no flexibility, that it cannot be adapted to a new type of cyber incidents, and that it's sometimes excessive, sometimes too much, sometimes is not enough. And also, it's very hard to scale it up. Dynamic playbook. It's about smart scenarios for some non-conventional situations. And they analyze incident context, adapt in real time, and also, are built on only two parameters: input data and context of the incident. Well, the main goal of dynamic playbooks is resolving existing statistic playbooks problems, minimizing manual input of an analyst, and also minimizing mistakes which an analytic may do when researching or investigating an incident. Let's do a comparison between static and dynamic playbooks by the following criteria. Of course, dynamic playbook is winning because it looks into the incident's context, knows what kind of processes to be launched, while statical playbook is going to go according to the pre-specified scenario. It is not checking up against the context. Dynamic playbook, however, can also inquire additional data, be it from analytical services and from other SE, and the static playbook is also going to use just a regular data in the incident. It's not going to go any further because this is the way it was written. Dynamic playbooks, in case of mistakes, they are going to work anomalies. It may pass through some stage or repeat some stage, but whatever the case, it's going to log a mistake and an analyst is going to work into that. While in static playbook, this is not going to happen. It's going to just break down and possibly we won't be able to do anything about it. Now, what do playbooks do at different stage of incident investigation? Let's begin with analysis. Static playbooks are going to look only for malware files. It will work using the same rules or guided by the same rules. And, for example, it will be able to find hashes, while dynamic playbook is going to analyze processes behavior, will see some anomaly activities, will find connection between the different events. And on the stage of holding back, the static playbook is going to do typical actions for all types of incidents, while dynamic playbook, in turn, is going to make some adaptive measures. For example, for example, let's take, we have a malware file. It's going to look not only for file and try to delete it, but also it's going to enrich it. I mean, to find this file and get a new path, and then we'll get into auto-loading to see whether this file, malware file, is going to be auto-loaded or not, and then we'll delete this file and its copies using new pathway. On the stage of elimination, a static playbook is limited by some number of actions, and dynamic playbook is going to work for specific objects. On the stage of restoration, a static playbook, for example, can simply to roll it back to the last backup. I mean, while dynamic playbook is going to see like about this last backup, to double check it against threats, and will restore data selectively, and can also launch this backup in some isolated environment. And the final stage of incident research or investigation is a post-analysis with a static playbook, and analysts will have to do lots of reports and write in tickets, and probably they'll be deviating from templates, and they may make actually some fatal mistakes, while with a dynamic playbook this is not the case. Because automatically it's going to create tickets, it's going to generate reporting. Everything will be according to the templates and according to compliance procedures. But we cannot automate everything, right? Yeah. And some things have to be left with analysts, but whatever can be automated should be automated. And it will save time for reaction. The sooner we respond to the incident, the less potential damage will be. Automation is the only way to deal with the huge amounts of incidents we are observing. Whereas just one analyst equals one incident investigated, a dynamic playbook can process simultaneously tens, dozens, maybe thousands of events at the same time. There is no room for human error, and also it saves resources, and the team begins to work on their expertise, while all the routine actions are given outsourced to a dynamic playbook.
Как в нашей платформе строится?
Now, how do we do it in our platform? How do we work with dynamic playbooks? Dynamic playbooks has two parts. Number one is atomic work processes, and second one is a playbook builder. It all works in no code, and not only DevOps or developer will be able to edit those playbooks, but also analysts if they have respective rights assigned to them. Well, let's begin with the playbook builder.
Он позволяет быстро настраивать.
It'll help you to do the fast fine-tune for dynamic playbook.
Построить.
It's very easy to build it up, and you just have to show the sequence of automated actions, then whatever will be the manual actions at each stage of the incident, and we are looking into the context of the incident. And also it's going to speed up the playbook's developing time and also introduction. So whenever you do a pilot and we do implementations, we have more time to be able to, so that the implementation guys would be able to do, dedicate themselves to more important times instead of rewriting. This playbook is scalable, it's very flexible, it's editable. If you want to add some manual actions, you can add, you can subtract, and the same is with automated actions. And also you can change a context. I'm speaking about context, but in the playbook builder, we're already counting in this context like techniques and tactics, and what category and type of the incident, what is the stage of investigation, and what are the lines of response. Now let's talk about atomic work processes. What does it mean? It's basically minimum, indelible kind of steps. The time of execution takes like the minimum possible time. Why are they atomic? A number of criteria for atomic nature. Like number one, the task is simplest, it cannot be further split up or divided. A work process has a very clear input and output data, so either mistake or result, and also it can be reused in different playbooks without any changes. So it means that basically it's a self-sufficient, it does not depend on any earlier steps taken.
Поговорим о превосходстве атомарности.
Now, a couple words about how the atomic, nature is superior. Like you can see, the atomic work process is very simple, and it can also
аналитикам по
how can I say it? Even analysts using templates can do it, and you change only one action. And the time of execution of this work process is minimal. It's gonna work like less than a second it will take. But on the left, you can see non-atomic work process. As you can see, it's like very clumsy. It has tons of transactions in it, and those transactions are sequential. So while one transaction is still going, you cannot move on to the next transaction. And this type of work process, it's very hard to scale it up. And for example, to be able to delete some kind of analytical service if you're no longer using it, or add the new one. And basically, this work process is very challenging to build from scratch, and again, it's just a simple one. They could be much more complex, and some of them are much bulkier, and this is usually what's happening. Now, what dynamic playbooks do when we take an incident into work? We assign the stage of investigation to an incident. We can see that certain atomic work processes have been launched. Some of them have been completed, some of them have been started, and some of them have been planned. As soon as we are moving, investigating the process, when we're changing the phase of investigation, those planned ones are going to be launched and going to be just performed. And so by the final stage of investigation, or atomic work processes will be completed. We do not take any functionality from the analysts. Like I was saying, there are some manual actions in a playbook, and they are like certain buttons, and they are responding to a phase specified in dynamic playbook. But if an analyst would like to investigate the incident in their own way, they can, or nobody's taking away from them these work processes or actions which they've been using before. They may take all the actions with these objects, do all the things, and also to launch them, all the work processes you can see. Or alternatively, they can take pick just certain actions. As for the automation, it is not a replacement for analysts. It's merely a tool. And everything we can automate, we should automate, like I said before. We have to leave analytics only for very severe incidents in some exceptional cases, and so that this automatic system should be controlled and fine-tuned. Now, what dynamic playbook is going to do when we change the incident context? For example, we're adding some techniques and ways of implementation, some objects which are going to be part of this incident, and dynamic playbook is going to be ready for that. It's going to take this into account. And as soon as we are adding objects, we save it. The dynamic playbook is going to change on the go, and we'll launch these processes starting with the current phase where analyst is. As of right now, dynamic playbooks do not take into account in recommendations of the models, but they're working in symbiosis. They are different models. For example, a model which is suggesting to an analyst what work processes, what actions have to be performed for the incident investigation at this stage. I closed it right here, but there is one work process, and at least you can see the one on the slide. And the second model is going to show you a similar incidents. Analyst may dive into this incident and see how his or her colleagues have been investigating it before. And also, false positive model is going to help the analyst to identify false positives, and so they will have to do less manual work and will close incidents sooner. Again, talking about saving resources. All the dynamic playbooks and atomic work processes are going to be uploaded on our marketplace. So we can do pilots and implementations much sooner. And all playbooks and work processes are going to be standardized, they are going to be tested, and you can upload them, download them, and start using them right away. Also, it's great to scale up due to marketplace. When an organization has some new solution, you are downloaded this atomic work process, you download it, it's all working, you're using it, and minimum actions in a minimum amount of time. And marketplace will help you to select only right or the most needed solution. Selective integration, that is, if you gave up some solution or you've added a new solution, then you'll have only that which you will be using. And whatever you do not need, you will simply just delete it, remove it, or you can re-download it should you change your mind. Well, dynamic playbooks, it's a technical implementation of NIST recommendation, which makes NIST theory into fully working and automated process. And again, you implement it, and it's a part of compliance. Our dynamic playbooks cover all stages of the incident investigation, starting with analysis and all the way to post-incident analysis.
В дальнейшем развитии динамических плейбуков мы...
Further, when we develop our dynamic playbooks, we can see the following trends. That there'll be more integration with ML models. Playbooks are going to be built in view of results of these machine learning models, and also we are thinking about building some hybrid playbooks, when a process sort of like automated, but it has some forks, which has to be confirmed by analysts, and analyst is given confirmation, and then the playbook is choosing either thread of investigation. So basically everything is stays automated. And also we will try to cover the most scenarios possible with our playbooks, also out-of-the-box solution. And also I suppose that we will also be considering the context of the incident as much as it would be possible. And what we're counting in right now, it's great, but this is not enough. And we will try also to count in context of those objects which are part of the incident, which is, of course, the most important part. And also, we are planning to upgrade Marketplace to cover as many vendor solutions as possible, which are being used in different companies and organizations. Well, as of static hard-coded playbooks, they are not managing dealing with modern incidents. An analyst has to do lots of work, so it all has to be automated. And dynamic playbooks are totally changing this paradigm thanks to the context-dependent execution of atomic architecture and it beginning to cooperate with ML solutions and maybe some external systems as well. This is not the future. This is already in new SOC standards. And those 80% of the standardized kind of attacks and incidents have to be investigated automatically, at least at several stages, so that analysts would be able to investigate some APT attacks, and so the system would be upgraded on the new threats, and so that analysts would have more free time on their hands. And I'm done with this. Thank you for your attention. And any questions, please, you're welcome. I guess I haven't covered everything I wanted in my presentation, so if you have any questions, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Спасибо. Вы говорите,
thank you.
что динамических плейбуков на статических.
You were saying about the advantage of dynamic playbooks over the statical ones. That means that we have to give up static playbooks and move to dynamic, or do we have to combine them in the process? And the second question, you are saying about the time of atomic processes. The sooner they kick in, the better. Does it work the same as in programming from the N or from 1, or how do you do this? Yeah, your first question is
Про то, нужно ли полностью переходить на
Do we need to fully switch from static playbooks into dynamic playbooks? Let me go back to this playbook builder slide just a second.
постепенно переходить. Конечно,
Yeah,
не сразу.
we have to do it gradually, not like at once, but and also we need some kind of hybrid, because without static playbooks, it would be very difficult right now to do this, to analyze this, and we put this into our playbook builder. You can put a check like static playbooks and to select the static playbooks which is going to run. So a transition will be like very, very gradual, and you'll have more dynamics and less static. But again, statics are going to stay. However, I wanted to get rid of them, but they are going to stay for a while. As for the time for atomic models,
Занимает рабочий процесс.
which work processes may take,
Получим информацию.
yeah, the sooner we're going to get the information, the better it's going to be. Like I inquire API address for virus total, and here I'm asking for API address for all analytics services. I do not need all of them. I need like just 2 specific. It's easier for me to launch 3 of those, and they will be working in 1 second each, like in parallel. So I'll come in a second. But this one, until the whole process is going to go down, I'm not going to get any result. What will be some transactional mistake, or the token key is expired? You're gonna wait even longer. And for this to run with all the mistakes, it may take over 10 minutes, and I need it now.
Какие
No, cannot afford 10 minutes in the incident. What SLAs are in SOCs, 10 minutes? No way.
Спасибо.
Thank you.
Привет, спасибо за доклад, очень интересно.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. It's great. I was a bit late, and this framework,
CM-ом.
how do you integrate it with the CM?
Это отдельное какое-то решение, которое просто...
Or is it like a separate solution that you have to get to automate it?
что интегрируется, мы как бы строим.
It is not that we integrated, we sort of like built our own dynamic playbooks according to the NIST frameworks.
Ввел NIST, есть
And I was speaking about NIST, NIST, there are 7 stages
пытаемся
which we are trying to cover, But in incident response, we do analysis and then the post-incident analysis. And recommendations we have in NIST, we transfer and implement them in our playbooks.
Автоматически же должны запускаться, правильно?
But they gotta be running automatically, right? These playbooks.
Да, то есть
Like you have an alert and boom, they go off.
Вот этими...
Like what manages, those playbooks?
Ну, то есть это,
It's a playbooks builder.
да, которая...
So it's a special solution, a separate solution, right? Yeah,
в NGSOAR.
we have it in SOAR, in GSOAR. Oh, it's about SOAR, I got it.
Как только инцидент приходит,
As soon as incident comes in,
аналитик берет
as soon as analyst is taking this into work,
фаза анализа, сразу
it's the stage of analysis and automatically work processes are being launched. I got it. And also,
ты видишь
you said about
развитие.
how do you see the further development? I mean, is it going to be some kind of ML assistant which is going to manage playbooks and to add analysts or analytics, or is it going to be like 2 independent solutions of independent analytics, and they're going to SOC analysts what to do?
ты сказал, что
So what's the future? What's the future?
управляет динамическим плейбуком. Я
You can do ML, which is managing dynamic playbooks. I never thought about that. I have to think about that. What I meant is dynamic playbooks.
учитывать не только
They're counting in the context of the incident, but also the object which is a part of this incident,
он учитывает
and let them count in the result of an ML
будет учитывать
machine learning model. So it's going to also to use the number of false positives, like a percentage, or maybe some other work processes. We have a number of ML solutions, and so far I'm saying that you can connect them with the recommendation based on actions.
модель отдает нам
That is, if ML model
ручные действия.
is saying, okay, I'm going to do this kind of manual actions for each incident, then why do we need it in manuals? We can move them into automatic, right?
Да, учитывать контекст.
Yeah, to count the context. And as for the managing dynamic playbooks, we haven't thought about that either. Yeah, thank you.
Спасибо за доклад. Очень было
Yeah, thanks for the presentation. Very interesting indeed. Just a comment that I've had. Maybe we should not say that dynamic playbooks are something totally separate, but it's like a development of static playbooks. You know, static playbooks would be like a top tier of description of what we want, while dynamic playbooks are just closer to like a bit by bit, you know, piece by piece. And now my question, let's say we have a set of these atomic actions. How do we synchronize data in between them? Even to get a verdict for IP, I'm reading for virus total. And then we get information in IP. Let's say we get yet another data for host names. We go into different systems now working for host names only. And then how do we do synchronization? You mean synchronization so that the outcome of the first work process would be transferred in the second one? Yes, we have a sequence. You can identify this sequence right here for two of them simultaneously. As the first one will be done, it will write this solution into the incident, into the technical table. And the second work process, which needs the context, it will take it from that aforementioned table. Okay, then if we say that, okay, take a host name and go there, but we probably need to have two atomic actions. One is going to take the host name, and the second one is going to go into this technical table and will take it as the outcome of the work of other atomic action. No, no. In the input parameters, we specify you have to take data from such and such table. So it should be there. It's always going to be written there. And we're saying that either result or a mistake. And a mistake is also going to be like an alert for the analyst. Thank you.
Привет, спасибо большое за доклад. Вопрос.
Hi, thanks for the presentation, and this is my question.
Критерия формируется.
Based on what criterion you build this kind of atomic actions, set of actions? Does it depend on the current phase within your investigation, or maybe tactics or techniques? You're talking about manual or automatic actions? About both, yeah, both. Well, again, we can begin to consider in the context right here. But atomic work process also has input parameters. You can also transfer context. In this case, in these work processes, I did not add any context from my incident. And this dynamic playbook is going to work for those incidents where the context is as follows. Category type and tactics on each stage. You can see stages below. By providing analytics, you can do this kind of manual actions and to launch this kind of automated processes. So, if some point in the incident we get additional context, you have like additional actions, right? Yeah, let's say we have similar playbooks, and right here you have several tactics. Okay, we've changed the incident context, and added tactics into a realization, we can save it, and dynamic playbook is going to change on the go, it will be replaced by the other, and it will launch those automated processes for this respective stage where we did our saves, and will give you new manual actions. So for each stage, we have like phase, we have its own set of actions. Yeah. As you go with investigations, the change of phase are launched automated actions, and also the system will offer you manual actions. Why? how can I say it? No, to be able to highlight to the analyst what they should be doing. These are targeted actions. They do not have to choose and skip actions. Actions could be potentially 200. Why would they do this 200? You have like 5. Choose them on a certain phase. Makes sense. Thank you.